Ahead and bring in KTVU's Tom Vakar. You're live in this neighborhood we've been watching live for the past couple of hours or so. Tom, if you're there, we'd like to hear you and see you and learn what you've been able to learn there on the ground.
Okay, what I'm going to do is walk out of the way, and I'm going to let Ryan do some shooting here. If you look off to straight ahead where you're looking, that is the house which has the open garage door. That door is open, and they're being very gingerly careful about this because there was a fire in there, which means there could still be hot spots that could flare up. And when they found things like ammunition and open can of gasoline and all that stuff, you have to be concerned that something could flare up again. And the danger with that is that if you have ammunition in there and you get heat around it for any significant period of time, not even that significant, you can have rounds cook off, which is to say they simply explode and they throw the bullet out. So they're being very, very, very careful about that. Now, if we go off to the left, you will note that part of the care here is the fact that there are quite a few ambulances around. They are not taking any chances in case something does happen. They want to make sure that they have medical relief ready to go instantaneously. Now, the other thing that you have to actually think about here, crazy as it sounds, is that there could be a booby trap in there of some sort. Leave some stuff out so people will see it, get their confidence, let them come in and have something else that could be triggered as they step on it or move it or something like that. So this is a very, very, very ginger operation that they have to be concerned with. And the reason, of course, is that there are people there that could spend their lives on something that doesn't have to happen. That is the situation right here. How soon we'll be able to tell you other things that are going on is a function of what the police are willing to tell us. I can tell you that I've seen FBI, ATF, that's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, specialists in explosives and ammunition and all of that kind of stuff, do the investigations of most of these kinds of situations. And there's also a lot of local police, and they also have expertise and significant experience in dealing with bombs and explosives and other dangerous kinds of chemicals and hazards. So that's where we are right now. This will probably go on for hours and hours until they are absolutely sure that this place is secure. And even then, you have to wonder, you know, how soon the neighbors are going to be able to get back in there because, as I say, you just don't really know what's in there until it's completely over. So they're probably out for at least the rest of the day, maybe longer than that.
Tom, I can't tell from this view just how much of the street is blocked off behind you, but I know sometimes in these incidents you'll have people drive by, neighbors drive by, and, you know, give their 2 cents out the car window. Have you been able to, and I know you can't get into the actual street itself, have you been able to get any sense of what this man was like, if there was, you know, any warning sign, anything from anybody who may have been driving by and perhaps, just like I said, offering a couple words to you?
From what I've heard from people that are just talking here, and I don't know if they're news media or if, because there's all kind of news media here, but there are some obvious residents around here that this guy was somewhat of a loner and somewhat of a fearsome person. But that, you know, could be said of a lot of people and doesn't mean anything. The problem here, of course, is that when this guy left, apparently he wanted to make sure that he got rid of his home. Right. And when a home's got the kinds of armaments that you're talking about, then that shows wanton disregard for your neighbors as well. So he might have wanted to take more people than the ones he took. We'll learn more about that as we get a better profile on this guy.
And from the looks of it, Tom, I mean, it looks like the home's not destroyed. Granted, no, I haven't seen the inside of it right at this point. So saying that, have you seen anyone take out anything from the house, the ATF, the FBI?
Not really. I haven't seen that. But again, they have to be very, very careful because this is a major evidentiary thing that's going on here. It's not just the stuff. It is the stuff as it relates to further legal cases that are going on and things like that, because we don't know if this guy had any partners in this. We don't know if this guy had anything else going on. I'll step out of the way to see what's happening here.
Hey everybody, we're going to let this one through, okay?
So that was just somebody trying their siren. But the situation is still tense here. Yeah, it's settled down, but it's still tense because we really don't know what's going to happen. And the police have been reasonably good about trying to give us information, but there's a lot more information needed, and that's why we'll stand by for as long as it takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, Mike, you made the point of people in a workplace setting. They say, you know, gee, I never thought it'd happen here. Same thing with a neighborhood, right? I mean, a house fire is a house fire. Yeah. But when it comes to this being connected to such a heinous crime, 8 people shot and killed, perhaps more dying of their severe injuries. And, you know, and when we asked about if anybody gave their 2 cents out the car window about someone who lived in that house tied to the shooting, it is rare that people step up to defend someone who, according to law enforcement, carried out such a terrible attack. So I'm not surprised that the only thing you're hearing, Tom, is people saying, oh, I always thought there may have been something up with him.
The other thing that's important to recognize is that for at least 100 feet on either side, maybe more than that, this road is blocked off. There's a lot of media here, there are a lot of official vehicles here, and of course a lot of emergency vehicles and all of that stuff, but nobody's driving by here unless they have business to drive by here. What we will try to do in a little while is go down to this circle called Baggins, where people are standing around, and these are clearly residents, but again, they live across the street in a cul-de-sac, so I think you know just from your own experience that you don't necessarily know the neighbors next door to you, let alone the people across the street in a cul-de-sac, but we'll do what we can.